But first, let's get right to the B-ball shootouts. Number 6 Hazelton was home with their largest crowd ever. Over 3,100 people squeezed into their seats to see another incredible game against number 2 Wilkes-Barre Coughlin.
I'll tell you what, I parked about 2 miles away. Everyone here is from Hazelton, definitely.
I think that one of the most explosive players in the league, and John Soule, and one of the best coaches, John Quinn.
Well, Live was hurt. Now he's healthy, and I think that'll make the difference.
Hazelton in white. Terry Kringy puts them on the board. Then Rob Makarevich drains the 3. Coughlin only scored 1 field goal in the first quarter, and it was Kevin Perluke with this nice move. In the second, Ryan Live squeezes this tray. Then Hazelton's Brian Kunek with the rude rejection of Steve Horensky. 2 seconds left in the half. John Sowell gets Coughlin within 7, 19-12. In the third, Coughlin began their run. Kevin Perluke ties it at 21. Then Coughlin, Steve Horensky with the dynamite. Coughlin had the lead 26-25. Hazelton's Ryan Live with the Coughlin's kryptonite. This gave Hazelton a 34-31 lead. Kevin Perluke makes it a 38-35 game. But that was it. Hazelton shut down Coughlin for good as Hazelton extracts revenge 44-36 in another intense game between these two.
I thought the kids, really adapted to our game plan and held off that run in the third quarter. That was the key.
We played good defense. We played smart on offense, got the open shot, and hit it most of the time.
In high school basketball tonight, the club played host to the Patriots of Pittston area before a jam-packed house at home and a chance to erase a tough loss of the Patriots on the road last month. Sid Michaels joined the masses in the Cougars gym tonight and tells us how it went down.
Hazelton area opened this one up with an 11-1 run late in the first period. Off the steal, Rob Makarevich takes it in for the score. He had a game-high 16. Immediately after that, Pittston area again has trouble. They turn the ball over again. Terry Kringy gets 2. It was 18-10 Cougars after 1. Pittston area got within 6 early in the second. Scott Appel takes it to the defender, and he scores 2 of his 15 points. Then Adam Rahman with a pretty drive of his own. He double pumps, and then with the underhanded shot makes it a 20-14 ball game. But Hazelton area would open it back up to 11 by halftime. Ryan Live takes the lead pass, lays in 2 of his 12. It was 30-19 at the break. The Cougars held Pittston area to just 4 third-period points. They would lead by as much as 20 in the second half. They go on to post the 59-43 win tonight in Hazelton.
I think the kids were a little tense. I know I was tonight. Pittston played a very good game against us up there, and we certainly wanted to come back and redeem ourselves, and we did, and I'm just happy with that.
So Hazelton area avenges both their first half losses. They go to 5-0 in the second half with 3 games left in the regular season schedule. At Hazelton Area High School, I'm Sid Michaels, 28 Eyewitness.
Drive to the state championships by taking care of business at home in District 2. They outmuscle Wilkes-Barre Coughlin 57-48 for the all-season Wyoming Valley Conference Division I title. At King's College last night, a high school crowd of more than 3,000 on hand for this one, waiting to be treated to some good stuff. And they weren't disappointed. Hazelton's Ryan Live drives for the deuce, and he gets it. He finished with 20 points. Crusaders trying to avoid an early blowout. Kevin Perluke to John Sowell for a 3-pointer. Sowell led all the scorers with a game-high 24. The Cougars respond. Check this. Rob Makarevich drilled 4 triples in the first half. There's one of them, a 12-point spread there. Terry Kringy at the baseline finds enough room, makes the shot. Hazelton area by 17 at the break, 32-15. Coughlin made a move. Baron Jones goes to the ring for 2 points. It's a 2-point game now, but Coughlin never fully recovered. That's because Hazelton area kept pouring it on. Ryan Live again. He scored the final 7 points of the game for the Cougars, who harpooned Coughlin 57-48 for the D2-1 season title. Well,
at the winner, as I mentioned, receiving the bid in the first quarter, Cougars' Brian Kunek gets things started, hits the fadeaway turnaround. West Scranton's Dave Shem averaging 16 points a game. Here's Shem with 3. Invaders up 1 in the first. But the Cougars wear West Scranton down. Terry Kringy, 2 of his 10 points. And then Kringy to Rob Makarevich. Makarevich, 3 of his 10 points. Ryan Live with 17. And the Cougars play defense. The final score, Hazelton area 49, West Scranton 29.
And basketball, the 4th meeting between these two teams, and we've covered them all.
Well, the funny thing, the first funny thing that comes to mind is that they're playing about a mile away from Coughlin High School, and there's about 2,400 fans here from Hazelton and about 600 fans here from Coughlin.
Asking the wrong guy to be humorous before a district championship game, but I'm sure a lot of people think that there's some humorous things when Coach Quinn and I go at it with our teams.
Well, it's funny we have to beat them this many times to keep going in the playoffs, but we'll do it again.
Number 1 Hazelton facing another Coughlin challenge. Coughlin in red. Baron Jones gets the easy one for a 3-zip Coughlin lead. Brian Kunick gets a putback, and Hazelton was on the board. Terry Kringy with the running jumper as Hazelton went up 19-9 after 1. In the second, Rob Makarevich from the parking lot as Hazelton was up by 14. Coughlin charged back, and before the half, Steve Horensky cuts the lead to 6. Coughlin held the ball for most of the third. And when they did decide to shoot, it came at the buzzer. Kevin Perloop gets Coughlin within 2. To start the fourth, Rich Maley with the big steal, and he ties it up at 28. Hazelton was up by 3 again, but Horensky ties it up at 31. And then Coughlin took the lead when Horensky gets a steal, 33-31. But we'd end up going to overtime, and Kevin Perloop pops it. But Ryan, Crusader Crusher Live, does them in for the 3rd time this year. Hazelton, 38-35 in OT.
They slowed us down in the third quarter, and we weren't really shooting. We didn't get to shoot it, so I just want to get my shot in at the end and try to stick it in overtime.
Quad A, they had a tough time early against Reading. John Renwick for Reading. The lefty layup goes. Reading up by 4. Then Damon Harris drive in and nifty hoop here. Reading up 20-11 at the half, but Hazelton would control the tempo after the intermission. Check out Ryan live. Well, that's just tough to stop. With Brian Kunick, the big guy, gets behind the defense, stops and gets it to go. He had 14. Jason Houghton helping out too as Hazelton area advances, beating Reading 40-36. In Class AA.
On the move, Terry Kringy with the drive down the lane. He makes the move for a deuce, and this basketball game was tight and tremendous tonight. Later in the second half, Rob Makarevich for the Cougars, the shot from the corner, the 3-point score, and Hazelton area had the lead. Lower Merion calls on Kobe Bryant. He comes through with the bomb from the top of the key, nothing but net. But the Cougars hang tough in overtime. Terry Kringy with the only hoop in the OT, the victory, and the Cougars of Hazelton area play on.
Game night, the celebration is on. Cougars advance, winning 64-59 in Pottsville.
To Rob Markowitz from downtown Hazelton area wins it 61-53.
And kept the pressure on York this afternoon. Ryan Live had a big game, hitting this 3-pointer from the outside early. Live had 16 points by halftime. On the turnover, he drives ahead of the field and scores. Cougars led 37-22 at the break. More Live in the second half. 31 points, 15 of 15 from the foul line. Hazelton area going to the Eastern Quad A title game.
Our team played outstanding basketball and spread the floor when we had to. Did a great job of rebounding, hitting the shot. So really proud of the team today.
Now you saw some of the players out on the court. They called this one with a few seconds to go because of an altercation and some problems with the players and some fans coming out on the floor. So once again, let's check the finals. Williamsport wins it 64-46. Hazelton area beats York 61-53.
Number 1 Hazelton brought busloads of fans as they packed the Geigel complex in Reading, taking on York in white. And Marcus DeShields cans a beat, and York led in the first by 2. Then Darian Bones zoinks a 19-footer and a 7-2 lead. But Hazelton has her own 3-point specialist in Ryan Live as the deficit was cut to 2. Then Hazelton's Rob Makarevich pops in 2 for their first lead. York's Marcus DeShields gets in another 3 as York could shoot from the outside too. But Ryan Live took over. Live plays his biggest in the biggest. Here Live zeroes in on a 3. Minutes later, it's defense as Live comes up with the steal, and Hazelton built their lead. Hazelton's big guy, Brian Kunick, hits the jumper from 10. York was down big at half, but after a DeShields miss, Bones gets a little finger action for 2 of his 16 on the day. Then Ryan Live finds an opening as he scorched the nets for 31 yesterday. York tried a comeback, but it was too little too late. And Hazelton is going to the Eastern Final Wednesday night after a 61-53 win over York.
We prepared well for York, I thought, and the kids just carried it off really well. We wanted to move the basketball, get good shots, had to out-rebound them, and that was the key, especially early.
We knew we had to break their pressure, and they were trapped, so we knew we were going to have open shots, and we just had to stick them, and tonight we did.
Nats Hall, over 4,500 people squeezed in like sardines some 2 hours early. Just a good seat Wednesday night. Well, it was a classic, and you definitely got your money's worth. It was a matchup of the year in our area. Number 1 Hazelton meeting number 2 Williamsport. Both have shocked Eastern Pennsylvania in the state playoffs thus far. Williamsport and White got off to a sloppy start. Turnovers and maybe early game jitters. Hazelton took advantage. Junior guard Terry Kringy took control with this drive. And Kringy then goes backdoor as Hazelton jumped out to a 6-2 lead. When Hazelton needs a 3, Rob Makarevich seems to always be there. Hazelton's offense was running at full speed on all cylinders. They could do no wrong in the first 8 minutes of the contest. Terry Kringy in the zone. He drives and completes a 20-7 lead in the first. Hazelton was 9 of 10 from the floor. Ryan Live opens the game up to 25-7, an 18-point lead. But we've seen Hazelton let leads slip away. Remember Coughlin's comeback. Williamsport got the ball inside to Tobias Gray. Gray would get all he could, and Cliff Sweeting would do his part, including this popcorn ball, to cut the deficit to 8 by the half. In the third, Billport's Nate Hill lines up for a 3. What's he doing? The big guy, like silk. That made it a 36-30 game. Then Tobias Gray went to work again. Baby shots, but his team got penetration on demand, and Gray had 21 points because of it. 43-41, Billport trailed. To start the final period, Scott Haynes knots up the game at 43. Hazelton was numb, but Terry Kringy did the infamous Dreamweaver, and Hazelton was back up. It was a 49-48 Billport lead when junior Michael Shivitz varnishes the 19-foot line, a lead of 4. Hazelton was down 56-48, but with 42 seconds left, Ryan Live, what do you think? Hazelton got within 3, and Terry Kringy used a catcher's mitt to grab this ball. Kringy had a super night, doing a great job all over the floor. Just under 25 seconds to go. Kringy for the tie. No, it's a charge. Scott Haynes saves the day. Then Billport hit all their fourth quarter free throws since the 7-minute mark. And Williamsport is going to the show after a 62-58 win over Hazelton.